Welcome to another 1 hour speed draw. Today we are doing Ripley from Aliens. I was just able to see Aliens in a historical theater with a crowd, and that was extremely fun. And while watching the movie, there were several scenes that I thought would be fun to paint, so I kind of bookmarked them in my head and then took a trip over to capthat.com to go find some screenshots of it. And I did. So this was one of them that's from early on in the film, where I just really liked the really bright highlights from the sweat that's on her skin from waking up from a nightmare with these very, very dark shadows on the other side of her face. And there's either some like bounce light or a secondary lighting source behind her that's much softer than this really kind of, it's not really direct, but this more direct one coming from her right. And that looked like kind of a fun thing to do to try here, because a lot of the planes of the body and kind of some shapes that I think of as more round are kind of hidden in shadow, so that was kind of challenging to pick out. Like the sternocleidomastoid fades into the neck and disappears, but that particular detail is important to have there so that the volume of the neck is still preserved. And I had a lot of trouble with where her the muscle on the jaw the muscle on the jaw kind of meets that cheek flat plane of the face there, because I know that it's round where that muscle is, where it connects to the jawbone, but it also has to make sense with the plane of the face there. So that was challenging. I definitely, it's not really a cheat, but her eye was too far out, so I just lassoed that and moved it back in. And something else interesting about this that I kind of realized was that in the places where the light areas meet the dark areas, everything gets kind of warm, I think. Or maybe it's just that those areas are on parts of the face that have more blood in them, like noses tend to be pinker, cheeks tend to be pinker. But that was an interesting thing to figure out, how to blend that skin tone with a more pinkish tone and then into that kind of that much darker color where the shadows are. Sort of a cheat for hair that I've learned. I know I've seen other people do this, which is where I got it from, is to just make the big shape of the hair, the general shape of the hair, and then on the edges of the hair, you can just take a really small brush and put a couple of strands of hair. It's a really great way of indicating that there is volume and depth to the hair without actually having to draw every single individual strand, because the brain will take over and kind of fill in the gaps there. And then I also did a little bit with a brighter color to give the perception of depth where the hair is really dark. I definitely had something else I wanted to say that I totally forgot about, but yeah, I was drawn to this particular moment because I knew that there would be areas that were very dark that I would need to pick out with highlights, especially on her eye that's closest to us right now. But yeah, there's Ripley.